Hi, Brandon Sauls. Known you for a while, and I want to dive deep into who you are, man. It's been 25 years.
Yeah.
You have started this company since 1999. I've known about you for so long, but I want to hear from you. So first off, who are you? Where'd you come from?
Brandon Sauls. Let's see, I'm 48 years old now. No, born down in Charleston, South Carolina. Kind of grew up in a little small town there called Walterboro.
Okay.
Played all the sports in high school and had a great time. Went off to college at Charleston for a year.
Okay.
Some people don't do that, but finished up at USC over in Columbia, Gamecock.
Okay.
And that's kind of just a quick story of where I came from and where I kind of ended up where this show started 25 years ago.
So you started this company back there.
Yeah, you're technically in Charleston.
Okay.
Because I got out of college in '99, and that was in May. And my dad came up, and we incorporated ICND right there the summertime of '99.
Okay.
So out the gate.
Okay. So that was years ago. Why did you go to college?
It was the thing to do. You're supposed
The
to
right
go to
thing
college.
to do, right? That's
Yeah.
the rule.
It's just to go to college, and that's what I did. Didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I was actually really good in math and science, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I got into College of Charleston and wanted to take an engineering degree. And by the time I decided that, it was a semester behind. I felt like I was behind, and I wasn't going to catch up. Just right then, I said, okay, I got to drop back and putt. What am I going to do now?
All right.
And odd enough, I got a degree in geographic information systems.
GIS.
Yes, which is I can read a map.
Right.
But by going into there, we used a lot of computers, and that kind of got me familiar with that. College of Charleston, I was there in '94. I was actually by chance on the Windows 95 beta testing team.
Oh wow!
Windows 3.1
right.
for 95.
Right.
And the computer world just kept coming to me just by chance.
Yeah.
And the GIS, degree and the computer work I did there just kept pushing me in this direction a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
So tell me the story. How did it flow into ICND from, GIS to all of a sudden you're building websites and for hire?
Yep. So I'm going to drop back a little bit. So I met Brant McMullen from Ocean Isle Beach, owns the Ocean Isle Fishing Center. And that was back in '94. I met him. This is an important part of the story, how we got here.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, hey, go get, I love fishing, of course. And he says, go get your charter boat, your Coast Guard captain's license and come work for me. I said, okay, that'd be like a fun summertime gig.
Yeah.
I got my captain's license in '95, and we had just enough business. He had 2 boats. He goes, listen, I'm going to run the first phone call that comes in for the day. If we get 2 charter opportunities, then you get to run the second one on another boat. So okay. So we're out putting flyers out and all throughout the community. And so Brandon and I started talking. So let's build a website. It's in 1996. Mm-hmm. And it's nowadays the OIFC.com, but back then it was Captain Brant's Fishing Adventures.
Okay.
And we built a website in '96, and it was bad, Paul.
Oh, yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Animated GIFs.
I was going to say, did you use enough animated GIFs?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the rule.
Had the guy, casting his rod and fighting a fish bag. That was just an animated GIF over and over and over again.
Yep.
But man, at that time, we were the first guys doing it, and business just took off as far as your charter phone call started ringing.
Right.
And I was like, okay, man, this is cool. So in '96, we built a website, and it just started working. I was like, okay, this is cool.
And this is pre-Google.
Yeah, pre-Google.
Yeah.
Taking it along a little bit more. This is before like the inception of ICND. So this is 95. What is 96? 96. So I'm over at USC, and you remember how everyone goes around on campus putting up little flyers, little tags on the bottom with your phone number?
Yep.
I posted that I did a website and search engine optimization. I don't know if we even called it SEO back then, but I was saying I could market a website.
Right.
And so a gentleman called me up, and he was making some kind of knockoff Callaway golf clubs or something. I don't know exactly. But I mean, I was prime time keyword stuffing in 2000. Oh, I mean, I'm sorry, in 1998. And 1997, I was a guy who did the ultra small text, same color as your background.
Right.
That was me. That was who they were targeting.
Yeah. Okay. If it works, it works, right?
Yeah, man.
Might as well.
Hey, I was getting paid like $300 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And once that ranked, I mean, I was ranking in Lycos, Hotbot, Alta Vista. There was no Google really.
Right.
Back then. it just kind of kept going from there. And I started just doing a one-off website here and there. And then I got ready to get out of school and with that GIS degree. And at the time, which GIS is a really cool technology now, but it was really new. And there was just small government municipality type jobs, and it just didn't pay that great.
Right.
I had higher ambitions.
Right.
So I just kept landing a few websites. I got out of school in 99. Dad's like, where you got your resumes out at? I said, well, resumes on these things called websites. He's like, what are you talking about? 1999. And I mean, it just kind of goes from there, man.
All right.
I met a few people, got a few good breaks. Ariel Trush was a lady out of Charleston that introduced me to a company called Golfer's Guide. You probably remember back in Myrtle Beach, yep. If you went to Outback or any restaurant or hotel, there's a little Golfer's Guide publication. Yep. And I got an opportunity to go sit in front of that entire Golfer's Guide board and present a $25,000 proposal fresh out of college.
Nice.
And it was a database-driven website. Mm-hmm. And the website had like 4,000 pages in it. It was killing to update it.
Wow, right.
And when I did that, I made $25,000 in about 6 months. I go, this is real, man.
Is it just you doing the pitch?
100%. It was all me. It was me doing the pitch, me doing the coding, me doing everything.
Right.
I mean, it was a scary kind of time. I was like, I got to go to work. This is cool.
And that's a big one too. Is that your first like big fish, quote unquote?
Definitely first big fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right about that same time, I was working with a guy, Doug Armstrong with Century Contractors. He was a fishing guy out of Ocean Isle Beach. I knew he had a real successful business up in Charlotte.
Okay.
And actually, I still have the old receipt from where I invoiced him in his check that he cut. This is August 30th of 1999.
Oh, nice.
The check amount was for $3,200. I billed him for $1,600. I better work on that website for 3 months. He's like, Sauls, tear that invoice up, double it, and send it back to me. He goes, I know you've worked hard. And he cut me a check for $3,200. Nice. Like, okay, I said, this is gaining traction.
Yeah,
this
could be something. Right,
so,
right.
And it just kind of going from there.
So you incorporated in 1999.
Yep. And
you incorporated under InterCoastal Net Designs.
That's right.
Where'd that come from? Where'd that name come from?
Oh, if I could start over. So we've kind of rebranded this year, our 25th anniversary, to ICND. I've got to get that going. So I can remember like it was yesterday, guys. I was sitting over in Whitney, my now-day wife's mother's house in Ocean Isle Beach. I was like, okay, we got to give this company a name. Well, again, I get back to my fishing. I was a charter boat guide up here, and I love fishing. And I was around the InterCoastal waterway, the ocean, internet designs, whatever. And somehow we came up with InterCoastal Net Designs. And side note, I know it's intracoastal, technically speaking, but we did enter for internet. Long story. But I remember that night. I mean, it was nighttime, sitting looking out of a window at our desk with the computer up, and we just played with these little round logos and putting our letters in it and naming it. Right. There it was, man. So,
what did you use for your logo designs way back then?
Oh, man.
Was it pink or like what I did?
No, Jask Paint Shop Pro.
Oh, I used that too.
Jask Paint Shop Pro.
I remember that one.
Yep.
That's great.
And don't tell nobody I still installed my machine today.
No worries. A secret safe. So, you're starting to roll a little bit. You're getting some traction. You're getting some, I would say bigger players after you incorporate. Give us a sense during that first couple of years. Like how did you grow? Why, like, what was your strategy? Did you know what you were doing? Did you read business books? Like, where's your drive?
Yeah, crazy. No business books, no business background or anything.
Right.
I mean, my dad is an entrepreneur, businessman. My brother, my family, all have been just business owners and just kind of being around it.
Okay.
But, what really, I think the success was, is I knew I couldn't do sales, do programming, do everything. I needed help. And what I did was I went out and I met some good, we got to think about this is early on. There was really not much development happening in the early 2000s. There was a lot of like media and advertising companies in Myrtle Beach. Mm-hmm. Tanya, name a few here, Tanya Spear with Case Solutions. Michael Tidwell, he was with T2H, Kristen and Jeff. The list kind of goes on. And I went out and made real good relationships with these guys, and they fed me business because they were doing the print and ad work that they ended up, we don't know much about web stuff at all. You do that. So they were just feeding me all this work. And I mean, it was just like some of my biggest struggles early on was like, how can I get it all done fast enough? I was too small to really hire anyone at the time. And it was just those strategic relationships I made with these companies that no doubt led to the success the first 5 to 8 years. They were feeding me, and it was a good relationship for both of us. I was kind of crunching off of them at the same time. They were getting the work done, making money. I was making money, and there it was.
So you were able to use relationships to your advantage to grow the business.
Yep.
Same as we're doing today, right?
Yeah, and I always claim, I think I'm a good people person, and that's what it was. I was a likable guy. I did the work. And you're talking about working hard. I mean, these guys were giving me a lot of work. And I was having to stay up around the clock to get this work done. I didn't want to let them down. I needed that work to continue to come.
Right.
And that's where that drive comes from, You
were telling me a story about your buddies or something?
Oh, yeah. This is a funny one, yeah. So when I got out of college, when I graduated from USC in Columbia, I lived in Pawleys Island for a short stint. Okay. I was just kind of making my way around. And ended up living down in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And these are still good friends of mine. One of them was a charter boat captain. I think one works some construction work. And we lived in a brick slab home, and there was 4 bedrooms. So my rent was my bedroom and the other bedroom, the fourth one. That was my office.
Right.
And out back, we had our backyard, and there was an old burn barrel back there.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd be out there on a Friday and Saturday night, just living it up, drinking some cold beers, having a good time. And the whole time they're knocking on the window, "Computer geek, get out of there. Come outside and drink a beer." It's like, man, I've got work to do. I put my headphones back on and go to work. They just give me a hard time, but hey, we succeeded, man.
Yeah, now you're here, right?
It's just old computer geek, what they call me,
So. Oh, man. So give me a memory from the early years that will always bring a smile to your face.
Oh, man, let's see. I had a good one. Well, yeah, that was kind of one of them. Those guys calling me a computer geek, and that's where I'm at today.
Right.
But, there's a lot of things. There's been a lot of ups and downs over time. And that's one of the ones I just always kind of look back and say, look, I succeeded. We made it.
Awesome there. You had some key people that, obviously helped you out back then.
Yeah.
And, you mentioned a few before, but are there any others that really contributed to?
Yeah, I made a little list here. I kind of want to run down. These are important people too. I want to make sure I give them proper credit here. I first mentioned Brant McMullen.
Right.
If it wouldn't have been for the charter boat.
Yeah, that's where it started, right?
I mean, that's where it all started. So yeah, it definitely was an instrumental part of getting me going down that path.
Right.
Another key person was Hope Mazzell. When I was over at University of South Carolina, I worked with her at the state climatology office. And I knew very little about web dev at the time, and she was very encouraging because she was actually had a little knack for it. And she's like, "Brandon," she goes, "I need to get my thesis and some stuff online." She goes, "You're here to do your climatology work." She goes, "But if you'll help me over here getting this online," she goes, "that'd be great." And so I learned a little bit about database-driven websites with her guidance there a little bit. Mm-hmm. And that was back again. That was in like 98 or so, working on database-driven websites. Doug Armstrong, Century Contractors, I mentioned him a little earlier. I got to give it up to my wife, Whitney.
Yeah.
So guys, I can tell you right now, I remember it so clearly. We were like, okay, I need some more business. Maybe this is before I even had all these relationships built. I mentioned it earlier. Mm-hmm. So Whitney and I would get in her car, and I remember just like yesterday, we were going to Little River, North Little Beach. I have a flyer, and I would just literally go in door to door knocking. "Hey, you have a website?" "Nope." "Need a website?" And I'd give them flyers. And so Whitney would just endlessly drive me around for days, for weeks down there, and I was a drummed up business, man.
Right.
And of course, it's probably a side note is her being part of the Whole Sloan Vacations. Mm-hmm. We'll probably hit on some of that in a minute.
Yeah.
Ariel Trush, she's the one who walked me in the Golfer's Guide and a lot of opportunities. Funny how that came along. Again, give credit to Whitney. I don't think there was any social media really back then, but somehow Whitney came across Ariel's post that she needed a web developer to help her with some stuff. And Whitney goes, "I know someone who can do it." And so went in the door, and Ariel's she's been a great help. Michael Tidwell, I mentioned them from Jeff and Kristen, Tanya. Rob Honeycutt with SafeRack. I did some work for Rob and his partner. It was a bass fishing website. God, it was one of my first e-commerce systems I did back in Pawleys Island in 1999. It was horrible. We sold bass fishing worms and stuff online.
Okay.
Bassfishingtackle.com. Great domain name.
Yeah.
So anyway, they kind of closed that down. They partnered up and built a tremendous business. I mean, Rob is such an innovator. He's definitely someone I look up to and inspire to see him take a business after I started and grew it to like a $50+ million a year business. Maybe more. I don't know where the guy's at today as far as his status, but just killer. And he gave us a tremendous amount of work. And, I really appreciate that because I got to see some humps, of ups and downs.
Right.
That income was good. And the next person, kind of leaning later on into our business career and getting into the vacation rental space is Chad Taylor with Deep Creek Vacations.
Okay.
And Tim Caffrey of Outer Banks Blue.
Right.
Those two guys were I call them industry megaphones.
Yeah.
People hear what they say. And they gave me an opportunity when a lot of people didn't give me opportunities in the vacation rental space early in the days, 2014, 15, 16, by the time Acme House came around.
Right.
But those guys, the referrals they've sent, I can't thank Tim and Chad enough. They really helped catapult us on into this space.
Right. So, speaking of space, we've gone from, we're talking regular websites. I say regular websites for anybody.
Yep.
And we are now exclusively focused on vacation rentals, real estate, and we still do websites for the small mom and pops in the area too.
Yep.
Because you do have that connection. You grew up here. You grew up in Ocean Isle Beach, so it was one of those. You've got that. I'll say you grew up in Ocean Isle Beach, but you've got that connection to Ocean Isle Beach as Whitney did. So, what was your deciding factor to go from, the safe rack to let's just focus on vacation rentals?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, Whitney's family, Sloan Vacations, their website was integrated with a property management software system. I didn't know what that was back then.
Right.
I think it was Property Plus. Property back then. Property Plus. Yeah. And Whitney's mother and was like, hey, you can have our account if you can figure out how to make this integration happen. So Doug McNaught was one of the founders and key guys with Property Plus. And Whitney's mother flew him out here kicking and screaming. He did not want to come work with a young punk, right? Like, come on, my time's way too valuable. But he taught me how to interface with the API and what all that was. So I'm like, API, what is this? What's PMS? What is this whole world? That was about 2008. We did Whitney's website. In 2010, they had the Vacational Rental Managers Association conference in DC. And Whitney was going, our family, and she's like, hey, just come tag along. Free hotel room, good dinners, drinks. I was like, I'm coming.
Why not?
So I went up there in 2010. I walked in, and there was a couple of our nowadays competitors that I was like, hey, these guys, they're doing what I do, but they're just doing it in the vacation rental space. I've got one of these websites. I know how this stuff works. And at that point, I go, wow, there's a real opportunity here. Mm-hmm. And so I was kind of focusing on some MLS stuff at the time. Believe it or not, we were one of the first ones to tap an MLS API like Rets feed back then.
Right.
And that was kind of the angle we were going for a little bit. Some large nationwide companies picked up that niche. So we kind of phased out a little bit. I go, what is next, man? What is next? So about 2009 or 2010, it was 9, Vanessa Humes, our sales director, come to work for me back then. And at the time we had all this business still being fed to us from those media companies I mentioned in Myrtle Beach.
Right.
Now look at Vanessa, I go, wow, we're really vulnerable right now. I said, if these guys were to leave tomorrow, these companies I'm doing business for, we're out of business. Mm-hmm. And so Vanessa was like one of my real first salesperson. I said, Vanessa, we need to get busy in this rental space. Let's go. It's go time. And at that, Vanessa started selling these vacation rental websites.
Mm-hmm. How many employees did you have at the time?
2009, boy, there's probably maybe 12, 15, if I had to guess.
Okay. So you've grown quite a bit since you opened the doors, though.
Yeah, for sure. Good. Yep. Going way back, Randy Johnson was our first employee. Talking about trying to do it all. I want to mention this real quick. This was back in 2000, trying to do all that work. Mm-hmm. I met Randy Johnson at a computer shop down the road. Right. He came, I think he applied, no kidding, for like the bookkeeping secretary job. He really did. And Randy found that way. That's true. Man, so I brought him in, and then he really started with the innovation. He knew how to develop. Mm-hmm. Like I was just bumbling to get through stuff. Randy really knew how to get the stuff going. And with Vanessa there, we had the knowledge and the power surrounding yourself with smart people. And that's what I started doing. And so 2014 or so, we launched Acme House. Now, we had launched a few websites before that.
And Acme House is a real company, right?
Yeah, that's always my thing. That's like the old Acme House, your yellow page stuff. Right. No, this is real. Acme House in Palm Springs. That's right. But, we had done a handful of local vacational websites in the area. Mm-hmm. They were like on our first version of our platform. And I wanted to excel past our competition. So I worked hard. We dug in for quite some time. We built version 2 of our product, and we built Acme on top of that, Acme House. And that was the first Escapia. Well, it wasn't the first Escapia bookings we did, but the Escapia bookings on that platform. Mm-hmm. And we went to San Diego VRMA conference in 2014, and it blew up. It was like, whoa, look at these guys. And that's when, Chad Taylor believed in me. Tim Cafferty believed in me. It's like, man, this is an incredible product. No one's doing what you guys are doing. That was when you had the listings on the left, the map on the right, which is common now. But back then, that wasn't done. Right. And we were one of the first few guys getting it done. And from that point, that's when Vanessa needed more help with sales, and we just kind of accelerated from that 2014 standpoint. So it's been a really strong run, 10 years in this specific space.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, going through that time period after Acme House, you weathered some pretty bad storms, quote unquote. We're talking about, there's recessions and, even COVID, luckily ICND did not lay off a single person during COVID. Yeah. We stayed strong. Tell us about that kind of that life cycle, that experience, how you learned to adapt and shift over the years during the technical and economic storms.
Yeah. So kind of going back, if you remember when I got started in 99, 2001 was a recession.
Yeah.
And that was kind of tough. But what I realized early on is whenever people pull back, they had to scale back, their spending. And I get it. But like if you were in business, especially in 2007, that was the next big hit recession. Everyone realized like you got to have a web presence. You can scale back, but you can't turn your website off. I mean, you can. That means you're truly out of business. Right. But you've got to have a website. So all those people scaled back, like the digital marketing, we still had that residual hosting. We still were able to make a few updates along the website. So you guys know this. I'm super fiscally conservative. I don't like to spend a dime.
Right.
But the reason is that's why we're here 25 years later, because all the things are great now. Who knows what next year or the next year will bring? And I like to have a little bit thrown in the back where my whole team never has to worry about a paycheck. Right. And that's never been me out of 25 years. There's never been a worry if a paycheck's coming out the bank, And I'm like that at home and like that here. I just don't like to spend money because I have to.
But it sets you apart from the other companies out there. The Inhabit IQ came in a few years ago and they purchased 3 or 4 or 5 different companies.
Yeah.
Rumor has it they came to you too.
They did.
Why didn't you sell?
Man, I've worked hard to get this baby to where she's at. Mm-hmm. They did come knock on my door and definitely entertain me. Mm-hmm. And, I've got twin, now 17-year-old girls. At the time, I think it was 2018. So that was 6 years ago now. Yeah. But I'm sitting there thinking a couple of things. I go, it's a little chunk of change, but that's not enough to get me through the rest of life.
Right.
I got kids that go to college, cars to buy, weddings, all kind of stuff. Yep. And I'm like, I live in a little town, Ocean Beach. It's not like I live in a big city like Charlotte or wherever. I go, if I sell this thing, what am I going to go do? Like, where am I going to make the same few pennies I make now selling real estate? Or better yet, having to get on an airplane every Monday and travel to some big city, that would recruit or want me to come there. And so, I mean, it was tough not to do it. But looking back, I'm so glad I did not do it. Right. We're sitting in the best seat we've ever been in by remaining independent and not doing that.
Right.
At times you go through the ups and downs, but we're on the ups, and people know we're independent and no one's in our ear, and we can do what we want to do, which means innovate and stay ahead of the competition.
Right. And that's one of the things that sets ICND apart is that innovation and being able to not focus on solely just being a numbers driven company.
Yeah.
So having that back of the president and being able to trickle down that kind of mentality to the crew is huge. Because it does give a good sense of not only communication, but pride with the company.
Absolutely.
So you're not just a numbers demon.
Yeah. Man, my door's always open, if clients or our team wants to come speak with me, we're open to do that. As far as like being able to innovate, we don't have this, board we have to run things through and figure out. You guys come up with a great idea. I'm like, Paul, go. I mean, if it may take 20 hours of ICND's time to produce it, but if you say we need it because it's going to make our customers more money, make ICND more money, go, man. And we can do that in a matter of minutes.
Right.
That's what sets us apart.
Yeah. And so, along those same lines, you actually have kind of this mentality of never shutting off. And we've talked about this before. You do not shut off. You don't turn your phone off. I mean, you try, but you even got Starlink out on a boat somewhere so you can get some emails. The secret's out. So that came from somewhere, right? I mean, you were grown. You were raised as a person that took care of people. Give me your background on why you're not a numbers-driven person in that regard, and why it's a customer focus.
Yeah, no doubt. So this goes way back, because something that's deep down in me comes back when you're a kid, when you're young. You just don't have this overnight.
Right.
And it goes back to my grandmother Goodwin, that's on my mom's side. She would pick me up from middle school, like in 4th, 5th, 6th grade, whatever. And my friend, I lived like a half mile from my school when I grew up. It was really cool. I lived right there. And my buddies, they would ride their bikes to school. Well, my grandma would come pick me up from school, take me home, bring me inside, fix me a lunch, and make me do my homework. And she says, you cannot go outside until you get all your homework done. Meanwhile, I remember I had this big glass door, and I could look outside, and there's 3 or 4 of my buddies riding wheelies down the street, throwing rocks at the front door again, getting called a geek from inside work. And I was like, guys, I can't go outside till I get my work done. Grandma's making me get this work done. And so that was just the way it was, man. Like when I went to college, I never missed class unless I intentionally missed class. I always went to class. Mm-hmm. I sat up front. I took notes. I read those notes every time I went out of that class. And come time for an exam, I wasn't panicking, trying to cram for an exam. Right. And that's just the way I've treated the business. I stay fully engaged. I always kind of know what's going on. I'm not reeling backwards trying to figure things out. And it just goes, I mean, just hard work gets you there, man.
Right.
Right. And I give a lot to my grandma for that. In 4th to 6th grade, my buddies calling me names.
That's great. Yeah, I remember times like we're on a trip or something, and you're answering emails or taking a phone call at 10 o'clock at night, or servers down, or something, and you take it upon yourself to fix it. You don't push it off. And that's a good mentality to have. As a company. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. And I always say the day that I'm done, I'm going to take that phone and throw it off the bridge. Right. You get me on channel 60 on the VHF on my boat. Yeah. Well, otherwise, it's going over the bridge. But man, that's what it takes. Again, you surround yourself with really good people, really smart people. But you can't always expect Paul to take that call at midnight on a Sunday night. I mean, that's what the owner of the company is there for, is to really fill that last midnight gap. Right. Whenever your team is resting up to conquer the next day, Right. And a little bit of customer service goes such a long ways. Just to give you a quick example, just the way I am is like, it was the day after Christmas. There was an issue with the client, very minor issue. Maybe it's like a Google Maps API key or something. This maps are down. I don't remember exactly. Mm-hmm. But I said, it's going to take me 5 minutes to fix this. Mm-hmm. Let me call the guy, get him on the phone. We got like a 5-star Google review from that. Hey, the owner of the company called me the day after Christmas. And I go, right. That's a quick, easy win, man. Take it. Yeah. And so I like to take those after hours phone calls. It could be sales opportunities. Mm-hmm. One last note here. This happened about a month ago. A guy called at 6 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. The office phone has an app that rings on my phone. I'm sitting there having a drink with my buddy. I said, this is the ICND phone. Let me check. Check it. It was a guy that was looking for a website, but he was checking to see what after hours support was like. He goes, I want to see if anybody would pick up Friday afternoon. I said, well, hello, here I am. He goes, you got my business. Have April call me on Monday. It's that easy, man. Yep. All right. So there's a question that everybody has that there's kind of some rumors going around. Do you actually have a bald eagle?
Listen, that bald eagle has gone a long ways. So the cat's out in the bag. I truly do not have a bald eagle. I would be in jail if I did.
Yeah, right.
I feel really bad, though, because Chris Campbell, awesome graphic designer we had, took a newspaper article, kind of blurred the text a little bit, where it was kind of like just maybe a bad scan, but put me on there with that eagle on my shoulder. And it says Saul's, has bald eagle. Doggone if a Boy Scout camp or group called me and asked me if I couldn't come speak about it.
Wow.
Wait a minute. I don't have a bald eagle.
So that thing got out there.
Oh, yeah. Across the industry, people have laughed and like scratched their head like, do you have a bald eagle? Right. Today's the first time I've actually admitted that I don't have a bald eagle.
Oh, man. All right, so let's take a break for a little bit. We'll do I'll do some rapid fire questions.
All right.
These are fun. These are just fire. All right, what would you eat in the world if you could eat anything right now?
Chick-fil-A. Waffle fries.
Oh,
Sweet
yeah.
tea.
How many quarters would fit in this room?
Quarters.
Case
quarters.
Yeah. Give me a number.
2 million.
If you could be any television or movie character, who would you be?
Man, I've been told I look like him. I love all his movies. Forrest Gump.
Nice. All right, back to the good stuff. So, since you've developed this reputation for customer service over the years, this company has grown quite a bit. As far as both the talent for the programming, the talent for the marketing, the talent for getting stuff done and doing it right. What do you reflect on as a learning experience over the years as far as like growth? What's your advice for growth and being able to do it well without tripping over yourself?
Yeah.
Is there advice for that, or are you just going to do it?
Yeah, just talking a little bit about customer service there for a minute and instilling that into your team and trying to get them to think the way you think about great customer services. If you remember there a while back, I haven't called Apple support in a long time. I don't know how it is nowadays, but I had a great experience with Apple support. Mm-hmm. I had a great experience with some Disney type support and customer service there when I was back. And that just resonated with me. I was like, man, to think I'm calling this big multi-international company and they gave me customer support I just didn't imagine. I'm like, man, we're on a team of 50. They're a team of the monsters. There's no way we can match that support. I know we can with our clients. And so that's really, I preached that at a lot of our meetings we used to have early on. I don't hear me say it as much because the team's kind of gravitated that now. Mm-hmm. And with your department and all the department heads, they just kind of push that down to their teams. Right. And then I'll have like Chick-fil-A, which Chick-fil-A a while ago, always has just great team members.
Right. And
I think that just comes with the organization and who they work alongside with. They see that. It's like, Paul's got really good customer service. I need to kind of mimic and do that. Right. And that's just what we've continued to do. And, it just leads to success. Always, I've said a lot to you guys and some others ago, if you give someone shabby customer service, they're gone. If you give them great customer service, they'll be a customer for life. But you get that bad customer service and they leave, it may take 3 to 5 years to ever get that chance back to pitch them again.
Right.
So that's why I preach it, because we work so long and hard to get one client over into the actual sales queue and close the deal, and to lose it just hurts my heart.
Right.
Right. And that's really it. It's that easy. Bad customer service, good customer service.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, that's obviously a differentiating factor versus our competitors out there, and those competitors, and you can say, they gave ICND a good run for their money. Back before Inhabit even existed or came around, the Blue Tent, Blizzard and BizCore, Q4 launch, that they were all separate independent companies. Tell me how that affected ICND and the growth.
Yeah, again, look how that landscape has changed. A lot of those names you just named aren't here, or they're rolled up.
Right.
And there's only just a few out there. And, again, I just, I think staying independent and looking at what happened to those guys, I didn't want to happen to this company, because I watched some of when those companies got rolled up, I saw a lot of good team members lose their jobs, and I care about all my team members. I don't want that to happen,
Right.
And it's just the way it's rolled.
All right. Let's move on just a little bit to some fun anecdotes or encouragement kind of stuff that you can talk about over the years. What's one of another favorite memory that you had aside from your buddies yelling at you through the table at one of the conferences?
Yeah.
Tell me a good conference memory.
I absolutely remember that quite well. We were, again, it was in San Diego. That's when we launched at Acme House, and we were getting a lot of traction there. Mm-hmm. Social media was just really starting to kick up. Facebook and Twitter, they were around, but there was a lot of buzz going on around at that time. And we printed off a nice flyer, post stock. It was nice, card stock, I should say. And we went into a session, another team member, and we handed those flyers out, and they were just full of information. Because I believe in teaching and showing people that you know stuff, not just telling them you know stuff. Show them you know it, and they go, wow, they really know their stuff. I want to work with them. I kid you not, it was a guy from, I think it's from Gatlinburg. He literally stopped the session like in the first minute. He goes, guys, wait a minute. Everyone in here, is this not the best session you've been to so far? Because these guys are well prepared. They've got handouts with tremendous information on it. And man, at that, so we did our presentation. It was over. I felt like a movie star.
Right.
I mean, people were coming up to us, wanting to shake my hand, talk to me, who we are, where are we going. That night at one of the after parties, people were coming up, wanting to shake your hand and figure out who you are, what's your company, what do you do? I mean, it was a feeling like, wow, we're real. This is cool. And that was a feeling I still get kind of chill bumpies over because I've never, we don't get that opportunity to always get in front of a big crowd. You do with some of the speaking we do, you know what it feels like. We do a really good job.
Yeah.
And that was when I was like, yeah, this feels good. I want to do it some more.
So what's your biggest, worst memory?
A worst memory.
Something that you took a lesson from.
Just a few blunders, like a server being down, not having proper backups in the early days. Servers weren't that reliable like they were.
Right.
I mean, think about when a server goes down and you got clients and websites who are doing millions of dollars a year times that many websites.
Right.
I mean, you want to talk about having a bad day. You see that happen.
Yeah.
Or this sounds simple, but before we actually launched our Access platform, which was right after COVID, that's what we did during the COVID years. We built out Access. But prior to then, man, we were so busy, we would go take a website that we already built that had all the features in it, and we would launch that one. Of course, we would tune into that customer's branding, but we'd miss an email address, miss a phone number.
Right.
And you want to talk about how bad you'd feel if hypothetically someone at Outer Banks Blue tried to call there and it went to Chad Taylor at Big Creek Vacations. That never happened, but that's a bad feeling.
Right.
And that's when I knew we were more professional than that. We had to do better than that. That was not acceptable.
Right.
And that's when during COVID, when we stuck back in the office and rewrote our entire platform, the way the platform was built, they'll never do that again.
Right.
That can never happen again.
Yeah. So those kinds of learning experiences, and so when everybody was laid off during COVID, what did ICND do to explain that a little bit more?
Yeah.
And during those times, and why we stand out?
So my dream for the longest time since 2014 when we launched Acme was to have like an installable, configurable platform. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why I was doing a bad job of trying to convey that to the team. And I probably didn't know 100% what I was talking about, but I just couldn't get out of my mind what I wanted. I wanted like an installable program that prompted you to do this, this, and this. I just didn't get that out right. So COVID came along. And about that time, we had a client that needed a website that connected to multiple PMSs at one time. Because remember, along the way, if you built one website, it was connected to Escapia. Right. One website, it's connected to Barefoot, Streamline. This particular client was Outer Banks, and they needed to connect like 10 different PMSs. It's like, man, our platform doesn't even remotely do that. Well, by that time, we brought on one of our code architects, and I was able to get my vision bumbled out of my mouth along what that client needed, and we built Access. So during the COVID times, for about 9 months, we had little work coming in, but not a whole lot of new dev work. We still had our hosting residual income, that type of stuff coming. So that kind of, took a little bit of the blood off of that revenue that was drying up, new sales. And we completely built our platform from version 2 to what I named Access. And that allows us to be able to connect multiple PMSs into one website seamlessly. You'll never even know that. This is kind of behind the scenes. And we built everything from import scripts out, mobile first. You work with the team on make sure everything was laid out, search engine optimization and happy, and that's what we did for a year. We just rebuilt our entire platform. And now, man, I think we're at the version 12 of it. And Ben's working daily with Randy on new releases and new bugs and fixes and innovation enhancements. So, that's what we did. We built a really cool platform that's accelerated us way into the future.
And this was during the time of Inhabit as well, buying up other companies a little bit before that. So we had at ICND had a leg up with the competition because ICND was the only one innovating and developing at that time.
Yeah. The product kind of went stagnant because they were kind of going through that transition and wasn't really innovating. It was like, guys, dead ahead. Let's roll, So,
all right. So if you can go back to 1999, everything you've learned, give yourself some advice. What's that advice?
So I'll say this. I've thought about that for a little bit. Obviously, we've done something right. We made it 25 years. Yeah. If I go back there, I didn't know I was going to go in the rental space. if I knew I was going in the rental space, I would say build access. I wish I would have had a stable platform from day one, but my platform back then was everything. It was an attorney's website. It was a charter boat website. It was a MLS website. And also it just took me a while to realize what our product was and what we really wanted to focus on. Mm-hmm. And so that didn't happen really until like 2014, like I keep mentioning. And it took me still 6 years to get the access. Right. But that'd be the main thing is, it's just trying to build a platform that you could install and be repeatable and
find a niche.
Yeah.
And I mean, not just a niche, but a platform. Because I mean, you got to say that, there's thousands of agencies out there, right?
Yep.
We're a drop in the bucket.
Yep.
But there's only a few vacation rental agencies that do marketing and websites as well as ICND.
Yep.
So that's something to be proud of.
Yep. Just finding that niche earlier on, if I could identify that.
Right.
But it's just the way it came together, and meeting Whitney, my wife, and how Sloan came in the picture, and Doug McNaught. I mean, just all that just took time to come together.
Right.
But
such is life.
Yeah, just the way it goes.
Are you proud of what you've accomplished?
Yeah. I look back and I think about, when I started, I had to get a loan from my mother-in-law to get my first computer. A Dell big tower was like $2,500.
Right.
And I had a credit card with $500 credit on it. That's all I had. And so I look back at me, I started this thing from peanuts and just kind of got the way through it. And then there's 50 team members right here. I'm responsible for 50 paychecks, which, hey, we all do a great job. That happens. And what excites me even more, what's me more proud is looking at these companies that we service and look how successful we've helped make them. Think about the millions, the hundreds of millions, who knows how much money over the years this company has helped generate for our clients. That excites me. I like making money. I like seeing our clients make money because they get excited. They want to spend more with us because we do a great job. Right. And I know some exciting things I see, Paul, that come out of your team is like if we take over an account and you get in, you tune the digital marketing, the pay-per-click campaigns and all. And sometimes I'm copied on those reports and I see, wow, in the first quarter, you guys turned us around by $250,000, revenue. Right. I'm like, man, that's huge. I mean, we made a real impact on that client's bottom line. Mm-hmm. That kind of stuff makes me really proud, right. and having a great team that cares and seeing our clients succeed.
So what's in the future?
Oh, man, what's in the future? More access, innovation, and upgrades. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like we're in a great spot. I know that VRBO and Airbnb can be our client's enemy, but at the same time, they have brought the name vacation rentals, short-term rentals, vacation homes to the vacationers' vocabulary in home. And the wiser they become, the more rental opportunities we see for our existing clients, more startups that can come along. So with the name becoming more common in the household, I want to see ICND continue to excel and grow and keeping our product innovative and up to date and staying ahead of our competition.
Everybody takes a vacation, right?
Yeah, you got to take a vacation. You have to.
Where would you vacation? What's your favorite spot?
My favorite spot, hands down, is the British Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands. Love going down around St. Thomas, St. John. One of my favorite things is bareboating a sailboat down there. Mm-hmm. So I go with no captain. I go down there with me and a couple other couples, 8 of us total on the boat, and just sail the BVIs for 7-8 days, 10 days at a time. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. And just kind of a side note, we got a great client, Robin Cragen, Moving Mountains. And this all brings kind of back to the space here because Robin, he's out west, has an awesome business, but I'm not even remotely a sailor to Robin. I'm more like a powerboat guy. Right. Robin's a real sailor, so don't let me mix that up. So, but Robin started a sailboat charter company down in the BVIs, and we got the opportunity to build a charter boat engine, like a booking engine, but a charter engine.
Nice.
And so now, here where I vacation, I get to use the website to book my boat that keeps me in the space that keeps Robin happy because I'm renting to play with him, and also it's just a great mix right there. And I love the Virgin Islands. Love going south.
Good dear. Good dear. More rapid fire questions. Why are manhole covers round?
Manhole covers round. Oh, that's easy. It says when they stand up, they can't fall in the hole.
Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
I'd rather fight 100 duck-sized horses.
Did I say that right?
Because a duck will run you down and pinch you like a goose will. And I ran from geese and ducks when I was a kid and I have bad memories.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Yep. You deal. All right. So let's say that you've been given an elephant.
Okay.
You can't give it away. You can't sell it. What are you doing with this elephant?
I'm going to put him in the room. So when clients come, they want
a bet deal. There you go. All right. So here's a more serious one. You're on a shipwrecked island, and you can only bring 2 things.
Okay.
What are those 2 things? Your food and water is taken care of.
Food and water is taken care of.
You can bring 2 things.
Okay, I'll bring a toothbrush and some soap. Want to be clean.
Right. Fair enough. All right. Here's a tough one. You got to sell hot chocolate on the street corner in Florida in the summer. How do you do this? What's your marketing pitch?
Oh man, easy enough. I'll let them know there's marshmallows in it. Love marshmallows. They bring marshmallows out. And
if you could have a time machine, would you travel to the future or travel to the past?
I'd probably travel to the future. I've always wanted to go to the past, but as I read and learn more about history, it was tough times with no AC and other common available amenities we have today.
Right.
I think I want to zip into the future and see what's going on. See how big ICND is in the next 10 years.
There you go. I like it. So, any closing thoughts from Brandon here as far as what your journey's been?
Man, it's just all I can say is just work hard. A phrase I always say is just grind and grind and grind. Success will come. I mean, when you fish in a fishing tournament, you just got to go grind it out. Instead of that hole, if you know this is a place to be. We know in the right space, in this rental space, we know we got the right product. We just got to get in front of people. And if we can get in front of that sales team can make an opportunity to get in front of someone, we can close the deal. And that's just that grind. We'll continue to do it. We've done it for 25 years and we'll do it for another 10, 15 or 20 more years. So just good hard work. And I think that's the same work ethic our team has drawn up behind me. And that's why we have great success.
All right, Brandon, appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, Paul, thanks for all you do, man.
Yep.
All right.